All right, so today, we're not just painting any car, okay? We're working on this little white Mazda 2, and let me tell you, this thing's been through a lot. Scratches, dull paint, probably a few car wash regrets. But today, we're giving it that mirror finish glow up. This right here. We're about to make this Mazda look so clean, your reflection might start talking back. So buckle up because I'm going to show you how to spray clear coat like a pro. No orange peel, no runs, just pure glass finish. And hey, if it turns out bad, we'll just say it's matte style, right? Let's get into it. Now, before we start spraying, I'm just going to check my gun settings. Because one wrong turn, and instead of clear coat, we'll be giving this car a whole new texture. So let's make sure everything's ready, the surface is clean, the air pressure's right, and then we'll let the shine do the talking. As you can see, the Mazda's already masked up and ready to go. Now, masking is one of the most important steps before spraying clear coat. You want to make sure every edge is sealed tight, no gaps, no loose tape. Because once that overspray lands somewhere it shouldn't, it's game over. Take your time here. Clean lines come from clean masking. Even the pros double-check their edges before they pull the trigger. Now the car's already been wiped down with a microfiber cloth. No dust, no grease. So, the Mazda's all masked up, looking ready for that glossy makeover. But as I was walking around, I spotted a few little imperfections hiding out. You know how it is. Tiny scratches, a few dim spots that just love showing up right before paint time. It's always those sneaky ones that think they can slide under the clear coat unnoticed. But that's why you always do a final walk around before spraying, because once that clear coat hits, every little mark becomes a permanent souvenir. So yeah, everything's masked, everything's prepped, just making sure the surface is perfect before we lay down that shine. So, while walking around, I noticed a few tiny spots we didn't catch earlier. For that, I'll be using Cello Coat N.C. Putty Black. It's great for quick spot repairs. Fills in those little scratches and pinholes fast, smooths out easy, and keeps the surface perfectly even before we move on to the next step. So now we're going to take a small amount of Cello Coat N.C. Putty Black. You don't need much, just a thin bit on your spreader. The goal here is not to overload the surface, but to fill only where it's needed. Apply it gently over those small scratches or pinholes, and make sure to press it in so it bonds well with the surface. Keep your spreader clean and smooth out the edges so you don't create any extra sanding work later. Once it's on, give it a few minutes to dry, and that's it. Simple, clean, and effective for those tiny imperfections that can ruin your final finish if you skip this step. All right, now that the putty has set, it's time to get our sanding game on. I'm using a 600 grit sanding block, the sweet spot for leveling out these tiny repairs without going overboard. The key here is to sand gently and evenly. Think of it like giving your car a little facial. You want to smooth out the bumps, not leave scratches that scream, "I was here." Always keep the block flat against the surface and use consistent pressure. Too hard and you'll dig in. Too soft and you'll leave it uneven. It's all about balance. And don't forget to check your work from different angles. Sometimes imperfections like to play hide and seek under the light. Once you're happy with the surface, it should feel silky smooth to the touch. No high spots, no low spots, just a nice even canvas ready for that clear coat. Remember, good prep is everything. Clear coat only makes the flaws more obvious if you rush this step. So take your time, have a little fun, and get that surface perfect before we move on. All right, the base coat's already been applied off camera, but take a look at this. A clean, even layer that's ready for the magic of clear coat. The base coat is super important because it sets the color and depth of your finish. Think of it as the foundation of a house. If it's smooth and even, everything on top will shine. Notice the uniform coverage and no streaks? That's what we aim for. And yes, even though it looks good now, the clear coat is the real star of the show. It's what gives that mirror-like, glossy finish we all love. So always respect the base coat. It's doing all the heavy lifting before we hit it with the shine. All right, now comes the fun part, the clear coat. This is what gives the car that glossy, mirror-like finish we're after. When spraying, keep your gun moving smoothly, like you're giving the car a gentle massage. Too slow, and you get runs. Too fast, and you leave it thin and uneven. Hold the gun about 6 to 8 inches from the surface and overlap each pass slightly, like painting stripes on a zebra. Consistent coverage is key. Remember, 2 to 3 light coats are better than one heavy one. And don't worry about a little mist in the air. That's normal, just part of the process. After each coat, give it a few minutes to flash off, and always watch how the light hits the surface. This helps you spot any areas that need a tiny touch-up. Clear coat is all about patience and finesse. Take your time, stay steady, and soon enough, this Mazda 2 will be shining like it just rolled out of a showroom. First clear coat flash off. At this stage, it might look a little patchy, and you might even notice some orange peel. That's totally normal. Don't panic. This is just the paint settling and drying. The key is to let it rest for a few minutes so the solvents can evaporate. Once it flashes off, we can come back for the next coat and build up that perfect glossy finish. Patience here pays off. Rushing it now will only create more work later, so just let it breathe and get ready for the next layer. All right, time for coat number 2. This is where the magic really starts to happen. The surface begins to even out, and that gloss we all love starts to appear. When spraying the second coat, remember the golden rule. Light, even passes. Think of it like frosting a cake. You don't want clumps, just smooth, consistent coverage. Hold your gun steady, keep about 6 to 8 inches from the surface, and overlap your passes slightly. And yes, it might feel like you're painting forever, but trust me, 2 or 3 thin coats beat one thick, runny mess any day. As you go, watch how the light reflects off the surface. You'll start to see that mirror-like shine peeking through. And hey, if a little mist floats in the air, just call it spray sparkle, because that's how professionals roll. By the time we finish this coat, this Mazda 2 is starting to look showroom ready. Just one more coat to seal the deal. All right, now we're letting the second clear coat flash off. This is a critical moment. The surface might still look a little patchy or show some orange peel, and that's completely normal. Don't freak out. The clear coat needs this time for the solvents to evaporate and the layers to settle evenly. During this flash-off stage, it's tempting to touch or check constantly, but resist. Think of it like letting a cake cool. Any premature interference can ruin all the hard work we just put in. As the clear coat settles, the surface will start to smooth out naturally, and that depth and shine we're after will slowly appear. This is also a good time to step back, admire the work so far, and maybe even do a little happy dance, because patience here is what turns a good paint job into a great one. In just a few minutes, we'll be ready to move on and finish this Mazda 2 with that flawless, showroom quality mirror finish we've been building toward.